are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always
Alright, welcome back to Building a Space Elevator again. We are on episode 10 of the time-lapse series, and we did quite a lot today, especially building out the whole rail system. So let's get started. Alright, so we're back at base, and first thing we did in this episode was to kind of mine some more iron because we were running out of materials and resources. So I wanted to build out a whole bunch of steel plates. I think I queued up a lot right there, about 15k plus. So I should have much more than that, of course. And at one point in time, our welding rig actually had 51k of steel plates. Looks like we only got about 23 right now, so still a lot more to go. So the first thing we did was actually build out these kind of small compact drill systems. And I had built two, because one I used the saddle and I thought it still seemed a little bit odd and long. So I built a second one that was more of a drone. So then that way I could remote into it and start drilling on the bottom here with all the iron. So there's a bit of a big iron deposit, which is great. But mining for it is just a little bit of a hassle, to be honest. So with the whole rotor and hinge piston drill system, it works out okay, but it's still kind of slow because I have to like really be careful and maneuver around here so that we don't break it, and then we gotta extend the piston, blah blah blah. Yes, we could make it automatic, bring it down just a tad, make it horizontal, spin, and then slowly extend the arm so we could automatically drill out the base. But I kind of want to just make it a little bit more difficult on myself, or really like try something different. And instead of me actually doing some kind of manual drilling like I was doing before by hand and letting it fall down to the drill system to collect all the iron. So I was playing around with the drone and the little saddle mining drilling ship, whatever you want to call it. They were really fun to play around with. Unfortunately, I did lose both of them, so that's why it's kind of hard to show you. I'll probably spawn it because I'm currently in creative mode for this context piece of it. And believe me, I am not in creative mode when I am doing the time lapse itself. I used the first one with the drone system. I stood out here, drilled out as much as I could, let everything fall down. Sometimes things didn't fall down correctly, so I had to kind of like manual drill it out to get it down there, and it worked out okay. And of course, it is based on a drill to fill it up and then eject them all out, all the ores, the stone, and the iron. Give or take, I may have lost a few by drilling too quickly and not ejecting fast enough. So, and by ejector, I mean the smoke connectors, as they call it now. So definitely needed like 6 or maybe 4 at the very least, so you don't lose anything, because I think I did drill out a lot of the iron and stone, but way too fast, and I couldn't eject them all in time. So I'm pretty sure I lost a few there. And everything just rolled out into this little deposit here, which is a little funnel system. I think some of them actually fell through here, which I think I collected, but probably not everything. It looks like not everything. This is a bit of a deeper kind of mining hole, and this is leading to gold. So that's what this is here. But yeah, the two drilling ships worked out pretty well until the problem that I had with one, the drone system. I didn't watch the battery, and as I was bringing it up, and you may not be able to see it in the time lapse, I think, but I was up to about here going vertically, and it lost batteries and it fell right into this hole, and it got trapped and stuck here until I grinded it all down. So we lost that one. So again, we can't have nice things because we can end up breaking it for whatever reasons. The other drilling ship, the saddle one that I jumped into, that one's a little bit better in terms of control because I can see a little bit better. The only difference is that it's a little bit longer, so you know you can bump into stuff. That one worked out fine. I was able to fly out of here, no problem. It's a little cramped of a spot, but got out, no problem. Didn't break it there until, as you saw in time lapse, I put it into this connector, or a small connector of a system, so I can charge it back up because it's running on small batteries. The moment I connected it here and then I hit recharge, it went from here all the way to about, I don't know exactly, maybe right over here for some reason. So that just kind of like got grinded down and dismantled at the same time. as well. I think this is actually part of it right here. This is probably the front. Surprised that it's still here. Yep, this is definitely the front little mouth thing that I created for it in that case. So it looks like it may have hit this little crater or created this crater and ended up by a tree. So that was the last of that drilling system or ship. So, oh wells. But of course, we can always project it out and weld up a new one. It didn't take too much materials. So that's the good news. I guess the only thing that really survived so far in the series is the main rover. It's still charging because it's only running on one battery, and that one battery is, yeah, it looks like it's still quite low. It's gonna take forever to charge with just the solar panels. That's not too bad. And then we have our vertical mining ship that's actually working out pretty well. I do want to update it a little bit and evolve it a bit so it can control the mining a little bit better. Although vertical mining is fine, it works well. It's just that a lot of the ores and resources are more on a horizontal scale. So we need to be able to mine left and right and up and forward and backwards in that sense, right? So that plane needs to be able to be mined as well. So this doesn't really work out that great. And of course, we have a large ore detecting ship that has now turned into a projector wielding ship. And by wielding, I mean kind of carrying it and moving it from position to position. So basically, it's based on a merge block and a projector and a connector. So that way it can easily merge right into the piping system that I have sticking out as a pillar. So right here was the original one, the first one I tried out. And of course, we got to weld up down here to kind of situate the whole entire platform. So we would just get rid of this and then weld all this down. So I'm not going to do it right now because I'm in creative mode and that's not going to be fun to kind of weld stuff and cheat. So the projector works out well because we could just turn this off and then move the merge block to the next piece where we're going to merge, which is going to be here eventually, and then so forth. But of course, we still got to manually kind of weld up the piping system so it sticks to the ground. So in case one section falls apart, I don't lose everything in that sense. But everything's working out pretty well. The system itself here does break, the welding system does break a little bit once in a while. One of the landing gears was on fire. One of the pipes were on fire. Not fire, smoking. I think one of the welders kind of got damaged as well. But I really think it's because of this. It's on a piston system, which it's on shared inertia, but still shaky when it's still here. So I might have to take that apart eventually, and I think I should for this kind of build. Or I could just leave it, and that's kind of welding the rail system differently this time around, and I kind of extended it and then drove it forward, which was pretty interesting, and it worked out pretty well for the most part. But I think we need more welders up front, to be honest, so it could weld up the projection piece a lot quicker. But of course, we stopped here because of the connector that's here, so we could connect here. And also, it looks like we're not even connected, but it's fine. But also, we ran out of materials. We didn't necessarily run out entirely, but for the most part, we're running out of small steel tubes and motors, as you see here, and everything else is actually down to little to nothing. So there's going to be a lot more materials that I'm going to have to put in production, but this is moving along a little quicker with the ship carrying the projector that's always going to be on and merging to the next merge block and so forth. I mean, probably the best way to do it is kind of have the projector part of the, but right now it's still kind of a manual process, but not too bad, as we've gotten pretty far from the base. So one way to tell is you can see the tower over there, pretty far away, and that we're finally above the ground when it comes to our piping system. That's kind of a good way of telling exactly how far we are. So we still got long ways to go, but based on this trajectory, I think we're okay to clear that mountain. I hope so, at least. Alright, so coming back to base, and I'm just going to cheese it really quickly for the context piece of the video, and that is to bring out drone number 1. Oh, and it's dumping iron for whatever reasons. I guess I duped it at that point in time. I'm not going to collect those. Let's just let that kind of run its course. But here is our drone system and our saddle mining system. So in the terms of the time lapse, yes, you can see basically how I made all of it. But I did change it once a little bit here and there. But this is the system itself. All right, so I like the drone version. As you can see, it is slightly shorter. Trying to line it up really quickly. Right there. Okay, when it's slightly shorter, I mean maybe 2 blocks shorter. So it's not significant, as you see there. But I do like the drone one because it's just easier to maneuver and easier to place everything. As you see, actually 3 blocks if this one is sticking out here. Nope. That's actually the same. 2 blocks difference. But it does have more side thrusting on this one versus this one here, I think. We have actually 5. Yeah, we have 5 there, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 1 extra, in a sense, on each side. Although we could still put more. We could put one right here, on top right here. Because initially we put an ejector there, or a small connector there to eject out or throw out stuff. But it was landing on top of the system, and it wasn't keeping it straight, so that was a problem. So both of these worked out pretty well. But again, I did enjoy the drone version a little bit more than the saddled one. But again, both worked out pretty fine. No issues whatsoever. And the first one is the drone system, made up of entirely mostly the battery and then the drill, and then built around it from there. As you see, so basically it has everything you need: camera, a remote control, antenna, a button for recharge, and recharge on and off for the battery. We have the gyroscope, and the rest is all thrusters. So we have 2 forward thrusters, 2 backward thrusters on top. We have 4 upward thrusts, and of course we have 6 of the fan type atmospheric thrusters on the side. Basically 6 on each side, as you see here. And then, of course, these small connectors, or you can call them ejectors, whatever you want to call them, so we can spit out all the ores as quickly as possible. It looks like 6 of these total worked out a lot better than the saddled one, which is only 3. So it worked out okay, but it was a slightly slower process. And in comparison from the saddle one versus the drone one used a larger battery versus the saddled one, where we put in a whole bunch of small batteries, so it made it a little bit wider in a sense, although not much wider. It just looks a little odd. So I'm not even sure how many batteries we have, but it's running across here. It might be the same amount of batteries as a large one right there. But this one has the non-compact saddle, drill, and I mentioned before, 3 ejectors, 1 on each side and on the bottom. And then from there we have the gyroscope, and then a bunch of thrusters as well. So 2 forward thrusters, 2 backward thrusters. We have 4 upward thrusts right there. And of course we have the side thrusting, which is the fan-based atmospheric thrusters. And this one's a little less than the other one. We could add more, obviously, but we have 5 on each side, which is a total of 10. And this one, again, worked out pretty well for me. It lasted a little bit longer in terms of the battery as well, which is good. But I did get this one charged a lot quicker than that one, or more at least. So that could have been why too. But unfortunately, I did lose both of them. So I'm going to have to probably project and recreate them if necessary. But it was fun to kind of have this one fly off of here as well. Not sure why it did that specifically, but yeah. So of course, experiencing a little bit of clang. All right, I'm gonna get rid of these so we're not cheesing it, and hopefully with the ores, I can't even see what the ores are, but hopefully they disappear eventually. But I hope you guys enjoyed this time lapse, this context, this series. And of course, if you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and also drop a comment down below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.